Hey y'all, hey! Hey Golden Child, happy Friday. Happy Freedom Friday. It's been a week, y'all. It's been a week, okay? It's been a week. It's been a week, okay? It hasn't been all bad, it has been all good, but I'm here with you on Friday night. I just got off. I know I'm late. I know I did say 8 o'clock, but um I think my brother's calling me. Um I'm glad I be put my phone on do not disturb because they be disturbing me. But today we are. Oh, what was I about to say? Oh, this is another episode of Freedom Friday, and this month we've been talking about New Year, better you. Not New Year, new you. It's no need to be a new you. You are perfect just as you are. But it's okay to desire to become better. It's okay to desire to transform certain aspects of who you are so that you can be more of your most authentic self. And life experiences, the way we were raised, the way that other people treated us have impacted the way that we see ourselves. And in some cases has caused us to doubt ourselves, to have imposter syndrome, to feel like a failure in certain aspects, or even overall feeling like a failure. So today, last week we talked about awareness of yourself, of your environment, of your environment and your experiences and those around you. Today we are talking about addressing limiting beliefs. All of the framework that we're going to be talking about this month starts with the letter A. I don't know why I like alliteration, but my frameworks usually have some type of word, or like my freedom framework is S, but this I don't know if it's a framework or principles. I don't know what to call it, but these principles of transformation and really becoming the best you in 2025, or just becoming a better you in 2025. Um, they all start with A's. And so today we're talking about addressing limiting beliefs. And we just had our journaling social. And the question, I actually can pull it up, but the question that we discussed around addressing limiting beliefs, but for me, this has been absolutely game changing. Addressing limiting beliefs, being able to release them, doing the energetic work that I do, being able to support myself and now others with addressing and releasing limiting beliefs, because it's, even though they are deep rooted, having that awareness and being able to bring them to the forefront and bring them out has supported me with being able to release them even in an instant. So the question that we discussed, the journal prompt we discussed on addressing limiting beliefs is, what is one belief about yourself or your abilities that has held you back in the past year? And where do you think this belief originated from? What evidence exists that this belief may not be true? So I've been reading this book, and I talked about it last week, and I'll be talking more about it because I now have the workbook for it as well as the print book. But a lot of our experiences when it comes to the areas where we struggle the most, or where we have consistent challenges, whether it's relationships, finances, jobs, health, like any area of our lives where we have consistent challenges or consistent blocks, or just consistently not showing up for ourselves in that area, is because of a limiting belief. And when we believe something to be true, we act and show up as if it's true. And the more that we believe something is true, the more we're going to be looking for evidence of it being true. It's similar to the phenomenon of you going to look for a certain type of vehicle, or saying like, oh, I want a red vehicle or an orange vehicle or whatever the case may be, you're going to start to see more of that vehicle as you're driving around, because that's what you're looking for. That's what you're desiring. That's what your goal, your mind has been set on. So you're going to see that more. The same goes with these limiting beliefs. When you have these limiting beliefs, they're true to you. Even if you have other evidence of it not being true, but because you believe it is true, the evidence of it not being true, you've negated in some type of way, or you've ignored, or you've overlooked or swept it under the rug in some type of way, because your mind, your being believes that it is true. So you continue to see evidence, but the more that you set your mind on, okay, how can I see the evidence that exists that this belief is not true? And my phone is about to die, and I don't like being on it while it's charging. So I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm already at 6 minutes, but drop in the chat or the comment section if you're watching the replay. What is one belief about yourself or your abilities that has held you back in the past year? Where do you think this belief originated, and what evidence exists that this belief may not be true? And looking into, okay, so let me look in here. And this is a limiting belief that I worked on recently. So I've been having challenges with my truck, and I'm going to give you a specific, very specific example and how I worked on it in order to release it. So I've been having this issue with my truck, and there was this limiting belief, and it was causing physical ailment in my body because of this limiting belief that I want a new truck. I have this desire that to get a new truck, but financially I'm trying to think about how is that going to happen? And there was this limiting belief that it couldn't happen this year because these past few years financially, baby, okay, it didn't happen, okay? My truck is a 2002. And I've had so many issues. Even last month, I took it to get a wheel alignment, and I wasn't able to get a wheel alignment. But instead, I walked out with almost $5,000 worth of work that they said, estimated for me to get done on my truck. And I'm like, I barely spent that on the truck when I got it. And it's not like everything is not necessary, but a lot of the stuff that needs to get done to make it safe for me to drive and safe for my kids to be, in, will need to get done. So I had this limiting belief around, I had to check in to see like what was going on, because I was having this physical response, and I'm like, what is going on? And it came back to, so I checked and I'm like, all right, I asked myself a series of questions when I'm addressing limiting beliefs. I'm like, all right, is it physical? Is it mental? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Is it energetic? Like, it came back as a yes of it being energetic. So I'm like, what is it? Like, thinking about, okay, what energetically is it? I asked myself a series of questions. It was about like lack and lack and scarcity. I'm like, okay, what is it around? Because I've been doing a lot of work when it comes to money, when it comes to business, those types of things, energetically, to release limiting beliefs. And I kept asking questions, and it came down to it being about my truck. And it wasn't just about it getting fixed. No, you see, it was about this idea. And I had the belief that, okay, one day I'll get a new truck. Okay, that came back as a yes. But I didn't have the belief that it would happen this year. Okay, that was before. Now asking the question, do you believe that you can get a new truck this year? Came back as a yes, but before it was a no. So doing this work, asking yourself questions, to really get down to the root of, okay, where did this belief come from? Why am I, even if you're having like a physical thing, is it a physical, is it really like, is the root of it a physical thing? So if you're having a physical, if you have a physical ailment, or if you have a headache, or if even if it's just something simple as, get like, I'm goofy, y'all. Like gas, like where did it come from? Like, is it something that I ate? Is it, am I nervous about something? Like, really getting to the root of those things. But when it comes to limiting beliefs, you can get to the root of it so that you can release it. And for me, when I do this work, in order for me to release that limiting belief, I stopped and checked in. I said, okay, are you willing to step out of the belief or the story that you won't be able to get a new truck this year? And if it locks and it says yes, I'll say yes. And I'll have a physical release, whether it's yawning or burping. Those are the main two for me. Sometimes I cough if it's like a huge release. But usually I'll burp or I'll yawn. As you can see. If I have a energetic release. So that limiting belief around not feeling like I wasn't going to be able to get a new truck this year. Like I said, I had the belief that I would get a new truck eventually, but I didn't believe that I would get a new truck this year. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I have a new belief and a new belief system that it's going to happen this year. So that is my process for addressing and releasing limiting beliefs. It has taken some time for me to get here, to be able to do it instantly, because before, when I first started doing this work, I would have to dig way deeper and get into more, asking myself more questions. But the more that I've done it, it's made it so much easier for me to release a couple questions, get into it, and release it and move on. And I'll check in and see, like, okay, I've released this limiting belief around this thing. Is there any more work for me to do around this concept or this story or this belief? And if it's a no, I'll just move on. If it's a yes, I'll kind of ask some more questions. But that is my process for addressing and releasing limiting beliefs. And it's really been a game changer, a life changer for me, because these limiting beliefs have held me in certain habits, held me in certain patterns that have kept me from achieving the things that I desire, achieving the level of success that I desire. And being able to ask yourself, okay, what is this limiting belief in this area, whether it's health, finances, whether it's something as simple as, just not being able to work out on a consistent basis. There are limiting beliefs there that you can address and release in order to even shift in that moment to say, okay, now I feel like I'm motivated to get up and work out, or now I feel like I have this new sense of peace around this situation because I've released this limiting belief. And now moving forward, you'll act differently because you believe differently. The way that you act when it comes to certain things is because you believe about your situation, your circumstances, and yourself in a certain way. So when you can shift your beliefs around your self-image and who you are and how you get to show up, the way that you show up changes. So it's a process. But the question that I asked for those that are here, what is one belief about yourself or your abilities that's held you back in this past year, and where do you think this belief originated from? When we can get to the root of things and address those things as far as our limiting beliefs, it helps us to realize that sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, the beliefs that we have are not from us. We have a very primitive time in our life from the age of 0 to 7 where our beliefs are pretty much we're conditioned to believe a certain way. We're conditioned to believe certain things about ourselves, about our environment, about relationships, about money, about health, about wealth, like all the things. We've been educated, we've been conditioned, we've been programmed to believe a certain way. But the more that we question those things, the more that we check in to see, okay, why do I believe this? Where did this belief come from? Is this even true? So going a little deeper, asking the question, what evidence exists that this belief may not be true? Because there's evidence you can find. If you believe something to be true, you're gonna find evidence for that truth every single time. But if you start to investigate and check in and see, like, what is there some evidence that this belief may not be true? You start to uncover, like, oh, this isn't even my belief. This came from somewhere else. It came from an experience I had. It came from the people that raised me. It came from my culture. It came from my background. It came from another source outside of myself. So the more that you do this work to address these limiting beliefs, the more that you get to become the best and better version of yourself. So take the time to look at these questions and see what area of your life do you want to focus on in this next month or even throughout the year, whether it's your health, your finances, your business. Look to see what are those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back in that area of your life. Because I can almost guarantee if there's an area of your life where you struggled consistently throughout your lifetime or for a long period of time, there's a limiting belief behind that. And as soon as you shift that limiting belief, I'm telling you, I'm literally living these experiences where I've shifted limiting beliefs and things started to happen in my external environment, whether it was relationships, whether it was financial, whether it was business. Like literally things started to shift and I didn't necessarily know the how things were going to happen, but I knew that shifting my beliefs, shifting my mindset around that thing, something was going to happen because I started to show up differently. I started to act differently. And I started to be a more authentic version of myself because I got to release these beliefs that were holding me back or keeping me procrastinating or keeping me inconsistent or keeping me from being disciplined in certain areas of my life, like YouTube. Me showing up on YouTube has been something that I've tried to do probably for years. I would get on and get off. I would, be consistent for a few days, a week or two. But when I began to shift my limiting beliefs around what it meant to show up on YouTube, what people might say or what people might think or how people might perceive me, like feeling like, oh, I can't show up as my most authentic self. Y'all know, okay? I would show up with a bonnet. I would show up with my glasses. I would show up with my hair looking crazy. But it's because I released those limiting beliefs around, okay, I know I have a message. I know I have things to share. Either you're going to get the message and, receive it, regardless if my hair is done or my bonnet is on or not. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to show up and share the things that I feel called and that are aligned for me to share. Regardless if my hair is done, my eyebrows look crazy, or, I got crust in my eye. Like, I'm going to show up because I no longer have those limiting beliefs that, oh, trolls are going to get me or, people are going to feel some kind of way because I'm showing up with my bonnet. It's like, no, I'm showing up to share the things that I feel called and aligned to share. And the people that are going to get the message, they're going to get it. If they're not, they're not. Even if nobody ever watches the video, I'm like, you know what? I did my part. And so for me, being able to release those limiting beliefs around that, I've been able to show up consistently on YouTube for the past, it's going on 3 months now. And this is something I've never done in my entire life. And it started with shifting those limiting beliefs. And I began to act on the new belief of, I don't got to worry about what people think about my bonnet. I don't got to worry about what people think about my hair. I don't got to worry about what people think about the way that I talk or the way that I show up. I don't have to worry about that. The only thing I get to focus on is me being my most authentic self and showing up to share the things that are on my heart to share for those that are willing to hear. So, no, Akai, I'm talking, baby. Okay, when I'm done, mom life, single mom life. When I'm done, I will look at it, okay? I love you. Um, but like I said, when you look at an area of your life and you see that this is something that you've been held back in consistently for a long period of time, it might be a lifetime, you'll begin to do that work to say, okay, let me address this limiting belief so that I can shift in this area and it not take years. Addressing these limiting beliefs will literally, for me, it has shifted things sometimes overnight, sometimes in an instant. So if you have any questions about limiting beliefs or how to, address them, feel free to drop them in the chat or the comment section because And then my masterclass, Eliminating Limiting Beliefs, I share more about the energetic work that I do. And it's here on my YouTube page as well. Um, am I complete? Yeah, I'm complete, y'all. But again, if you have any questions or you want to share anything, your experiences with limiting beliefs, any limiting beliefs that you might want to address before I end, let me know. But thank you to everyone that has been watching, that has been sharing, that has been commenting, subscribing, all the things to support the movement of the Golden Child, being able to monetize our YouTube page and really get our message out to more people, to be able to share and support more people with the things that we do, that we have to offer. So thank you all so very, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Continue to share, continue to show up for you, not just for me showing up for me, but showing up for you, being able to work on limiting beliefs, like becoming the best and better version of yourself. Like last week we talked about awareness. Next we're going to be talking more about accepting accountability. I did do a impromptu live on accountability, but we'll go deeper into accountability and what that looks like and how that has supported me throughout my life. Well, I don't see any questions. I'm working toward letting go of the limiting belief that keeps me small. Right, where do you think that limiting belief may have come from? And even with that, like a lot of people, I've had this experience where I had to like dim my light. Yeah, dim my light, or felt like the more that I show up, the more that I'm seen, the more people were going to hurt me. And that for me definitely took, I was literally just talking about it in my meetup group, um, where I did a lot of inner child work, and I do something called emotional freedom technique. And in the app, it's a tapping solutions app, and there's a specific tapping meditation for inner child and letting go of limiting beliefs. And that, when I did that one, it was so powerful. Like just doing that work to sit with my inner child and remind her that it was okay to shine, that it's safe to shine, that it's okay to be the most authentic and bright version of myself, that no matter what, like I say at the end of all of my events, you are born valuable, you are born worthy, you are born enough. You are born to shine. And that was just because you were born. You don't have to do anything to increase your value. You don't have to do anything to increase your worth. You don't have to do anything to increase your enoughness, because you were born with a infinite amount of value, worth, and enoughness. You get to shine as bright as you desire to, because our experiences, as traumatic as they may have been, for me personally, without those experiences, I wouldn't be who I am today. But because I've done the work to alchemize those experiences and shift them into something that has become a part of my masterpiece, it definitely takes work. But I tell people all the time, masterpieces require mess. When you're under construction, when you're going through a transformation, when you're going through a transition, there's mess, there's dust, there's dirt, there's things that are broken. But on the other side of a transformation, on the other side of that construction, on the other side of that work to become that masterpiece, it's beautiful. And you start to see that, okay, you know what? Although it was traumatic, although it hurt, this experience now of being that masterpiece, of being on the other side of the construction, or being on the other side of the transformation, I got to use that as a part of this. Nothing goes to waste. But I'll definitely say, man, like doing that inner child work to release that, and even just sitting with your inner child, like visualizing yourself sitting with your inner child, holding their hand or being as close as they'll allow. Because for me, when I first started doing the inner child work, my inner child didn't want to be touched, even by me, because of the traumatic things that I dealt with in childhood. So the more that I did that inner child work, the closer I was able to get to be with her, for her to sit in my lap, and for me to be able to hold her hand, like doing the work to process through those traumatic experiences, to let your inner child know that she's safe. Because a lot of times we've had experiences where we don't even feel safe in our own bodies because of the experiences that we've had. So the more we can tell our inner child, the more we can tell ourselves that we're safe in our body, the easier it will be to shine, even in uncomfortable situations, even around the people that may have hurt us. Because I'm literally living it. Like, not feeling safe in your home and still living with the people that you didn't feel safe with all your life is a different level of healing. Okay? It's a totally different level of healing. And it's a level of healing that I didn't think was possible. But the more that I did that inner child work, the more that I've been doing this work of eliminating limiting beliefs because of my experiences, specifically from my childhood, I've been able to shine. And you'll see the progression of even just me being on YouTube. People that are a part of my meetup groups, they've seen the progression and the evolution of me being able to show up and shine because of this inner work, this healing work, and eliminating these limiting beliefs. So, Rye, was that supportive? Let me know. But this book right here, Psycho-Cybernetics, you can find it on YouTube, the audio version, and that was where I started reading it. But that, as far as self-image, how you see yourself, how you think about yourself, this book is really supportive for that. I even went and got the workbook for it. All of this stuff is on Amazon, but if you just want to start reading it or listening to it, go to Amazon and look, not Amazon, YouTube on here, and look for the book. And the full audio book is here. But yes, you're welcome, boo. I appreciate you for being here. Anybody else have anything that they wanted to talk about or work on before we wrapped it up? Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all. But feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with someone who might be experiencing some things that they're like, I don't know why I can't be consistent with working out. I don't know why I can't overcome this financial challenge. I don't know why. Like, literally, I would tell you, like, 95, like, close to like 98% of the time, it's because there is a limiting belief that they're unaware of. And that's why awareness is the first thing. The more aware you can become of these limiting beliefs, the more you can address them and release them, so that these things no longer hold you back. These beliefs no longer hold you back and keep you small or keep you from achieving the things that you desire. You're already successful. You have a track record of success. If you look back at some of your worst days, some of the most traumatic days, some of the hardest days that you've had, you've overcome them. So you have a track record of success. So the more that you focus in on the success and not the quote unquote failures, because they were not failures, they were lessons and blessings. So the more that you start to look at those experiences as lessons and blessings and as material for your masterpiece that you are, for the masterpiece that your life is, you start to shift and say, you know what? I didn't want that to happen, but I'm going to make sure that I use it for my good, that I use it as something good for the masterpiece, that's something good for my transformation, that is something good for me to be a better me. So, as I always say, I love you. I see you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you again for your support. Thank you again for showing up for you. Feel free to share this video with someone who you think might need it. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Storytime Saturday. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all for being here. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, y'all. Peace. Thank you, Tia. Love you.